Hey guys, today I'm doing something that I've wanted to do for a few months now. I'm going to be redesigning the characters in Bendy and Boris' Quest for the Ink Machine. Huh? You don't know what the hell that is? Well, let me enlighten you. Bendy and Boris' Quest for the Ink Machine was a Tumblr-esque blog created by The Great Rouge, or blog The Great Rouge, something around
2017.
Anyway, the story revolves around Bendy and Boris on a quest to find all the pieces they need to fix the ink machine and possibly cure Bendy of his ink illness that's slowly, and I mean slowly, killing him. Along the way, they meet Cuphead, Mugman, and Felix the cat, and they become the Questers, which is kind of a lame name, but what are you going to do? And that's the story. There's not much to it, honestly. It's mostly filler for the first half of the comic, and it only starts to get interesting near the end, which sucks even more because the comic was never finished. I assume Rouge's sins caught up with her, and she could never show her face again, which is good, but we'll get to that near the end. Don't worry, you will know her sins. Anyway, there's also a few other characters that aren't super important, but I might as well mention them. These characters are, in no particular order, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Oswald, his 420 kids, nice, Hortensia, his wife, who's dead, Fanny, some random bird nurse named Double or something, Sheba, Alice Angel, and a stray cat that Cuphead names Jackpot because, gambling funny, haha, gambling addiction funny, haha.
Okay, so I completely forgot to include this in the original script, but there's also two other characters in this. Black Hat and Flug, I think his name is, from Villainous or whatever. They work at the Devil's Casino or something. But something weird, Black Hat is Cuphead and Mugman's father. So I'm just how did that create that? How do you, how does that happen? Who is Cuphead and Mugman's mom, then? Who the fuck? What is going on? I don't know. It's really confusing, but I mean, this whole comic is, so that's nothing new, I guess. Alright, back to you, me from, a few months ago.
If you want to, you can watch VOAdam's 2-hour-long comic dub of it. Though, I only recommend watching it if you can sit through this shit for 2 hours.
I'm gonna die. I don't wanna die.
It's our duty to get rid of them, so we're sticking to that. Nothing else is gonna kill them except us.
Dude, you said duty. Yeah, I totally did.
Duty.
Trust me, I've tried everything. It's like he doesn't even see me. I was able to bring happiness to a lot of people, but I can't bring even a single smile to my own brother.
Mr. Mickey, I've been always a fan of yours ever since I was small, and I was wondering if...
He wants your autograph, dude. Did I say your death was gonna be quick and painless? My bad. I meant that I'm gonna enjoy tearing you limb from limb.
I just don't like it when you hide the truth from us about yourself. I know you still don't trust me, but... No, it's not like that at all. I do trust you. I trust you a lot, actually. I just want to make a good impression on you. I always looked up to you, and meeting you was my dream. Now that I got to know you better, I realized you're even better than I imagined. Bendy, you don't have to prove anything, kid. You're easily very likable.
Man, you sure have everything in that magic thing of yours. What's next? A rabbit?
Now, if you don't want to deal with any of that, there's a couple of remakes that I've seen that look pretty cool, but enough yapping. Let's get to the good part, the redesigns. But first, there's some things I want to say. In the next section, there will be a lot of talk about vomit, illness in general, death, and suicide. If any of that triggers you in any way, feel free to skip this video and watch one of my other videos instead. I'll also be talking about some really gross stuff near the end, which I'll also put trigger warnings for, so just watch out for that. Alright, and let's get to the redesigns, for real this time, starting with...
Bendy, one of my favorite characters. Not in this comic, though. Yeah, he's the namesake of the series, along with his brother, Boris, but there really isn't much to him, or of any of the characters for that matter, but we'll get to that. He's just a short guy with a deadly disease who loves flirting with women, and I put deadly in quotes because It really isn't. But Moss, of course it's deadly. The ink illness killed Oswald's wife. Yeah, but Bendy's a strange case. His ink illness only acts up once every day, according to Boris, which is bullshit. In actuality, it only acts up when Rouge needs drama to happen, because it's not like time matters in this comic. I mean, Bendy's had the ink illness for like years. We see him get it when he was like a toddler or something, and he's 18 in the actual comic. Wouldn't he be dead by now? Whatever. It's not like Rouge ever gave us any info about the ink illness anyway. Hey, sorry, I'm interjecting again. Rouge actually did give us some information about, like, the ink illness and stuff. I just didn't do my research properly, like a dumb fuck, and I didn't know that, so oopsies. But because I care about journalistic integrity or whatever, I might as well tell you the information that Rouge gave us, so. Centuries ago, the ink machine was a very needed device in this world that cured an illness spreading around at the time. After the illness disappeared, the machine was no longer needed. Everything went fine for hundreds of years until the illness suddenly came back. Why? The illness came back because two idiots, we'll share who they are soon. I'll just tell you now, it's Cuphead and Mugman, played with the devil and lost, and the devil wanted their souls. They asked for mercy, so the devil gave them two choices. Either they die or he spreads the old illness around town. They went with the second option since they didn't want to die. The devil's power was limited to 50 people every year, so he started spreading it. Random people started getting the illness, and it was chaos. The machine was in its place, but after so many years, it pretty much isn't working anymore, and no one knew how to rebuild it. Death spread around fast, and everyone started losing their minds. Two mechanics, Bendy and Boris, knew how to rebuild it, but it had very special items that can't be found at the time. Bendy gave up and tried to ignore it until he got it himself. He knew he was going to die at any moment, but at least the illness isn't contagious, so he didn't have to run away from his brother. Boris cried every day, knowing that he might lose his only bro. His sorrow was strong enough to call an angel, who gave him a map that shows many temples, each one containing an item of the machine needed. Your adventure might take forever, but the illness can take years to kill someone. You might have a chance to save everyone, and of course save him, said the angel. Boris told his bro to stay while he goes on this adventure, but Bendy refused to leave him alone and joined him on the quest. And every day, Bendy tried to make his brother more capable of taking care of himself, because who knows, he might die at any moment. The devil heard of this and wasn't very happy about it. He couldn't do anything, but he only had a link with the two idiots who lost to him. He lied to them, telling them that their lives were still in his hands, and warned them that he'll kill them if they don't stop Bendy and Boris from getting the lost ink machine items. So they went off to their quest to get rid of them. And that's, like, the lore, I guess. Okay. Back to the video. Okay, enough ranting. Let's talk about this design. It's something. His outfit is kind of boring, but that's fine. What I want to know is, why does he look like that? I hate Bendy with normalized. This shit haunts my nightmares. He looked like a smug baby with a bad haircut. Those things on his head are supposed to be his horns, but it's actually just hair? But not when he's like this? Also, that's what happens near the end of the comic when Bendy's ink illness takes full control and he turns into an edgy tryhard that fangirls can freak out over. That's right. Bendy's illness doesn't kill him, oh no, no, no. It makes him stronger, even though the whole point of this comic is to fix the ink machine and save Bendy. We just started and I'm already so tired. Let's just talk about my design before I pop a blood vessel. Obviously, the first thing I changed about Bendy's design was I made him look like how he's fucking supposed to. I didn't give him the weird fucking hair or whatever it's supposed to be. You know, just kind of added a little bit more to his outfit, because I understand why the original was kind of simplistic, because, you know, it's a comic, you're going to be drawing the same character over and over and over again, so too many details can kind of fuck shit up. But, you know, I still wanted my version of Bendy to look interesting, at least, so, you know, I gave him these boots, or, like, shoes, or whatever. I think they're just, like, shoes. Much better than the fucking pirate boots, quest Bendy was wearing. Like, what the fuck? What are those? You know? I was tempted to make his tail, like the tip of his tail, be like the tip of a pen, like I do normally when I draw Bendy, but I wanted to differentiate this version of Bendy from my usual version of Bendy that I draw. I kind of struggled with like the colors, trying to like make sure that the browns didn't blend, so like you could obviously tell that like that's the vest and that's the pants. Yeah, I gave him a vest. I think the original had a vest, but it was like open, but I closed his vest. I was gonna give him a bow tie, but I decided against it because I wanted his outfit to be like, I don't know how to describe this. I didn't want anything that would get in the way if like he had to, you know, vomit up ink. I kept his little bag, I don't know, it brings it together, don't you think? His goggles, I kept those because, I don't know, I like characters with goggles, and I didn't want to take that from him. I made his the white parts of like his face and his gloves kind of an off-white, kind of like the color of my wall, because I didn't want it to be just blinding bright white against this like muted kind of color scheme, because that'd just be ugly, and I'm trying to make these designs not ugly. I did end up changing his mouth from what I originally had it as because I don't know, I just didn't like the way it looked before, so I changed it. I will admit, my design for Bendy, it isn't anything revolutionary, because like there are a lot of retakes or remakes or whatever of Quest for the Ink Machine, right? And a lot of them keep Bendy mostly the same, honestly. I'll probably put up a couple like pictures, like different versions of Bendy, but you'll see a lot of them have a very similar kind of style when it comes to their clothes. But you know, that's just how it is sometimes. As for, like, you know, since we're on the topic of Bendy, and he is the one that is, like, dying, basically, I might as well talk about my version, or, like, my kind of interpretation of the ink illness, which I have renamed to The Stain, because I think it sounds way cooler. I'm very happy with that name. That's also, if I do make this, like, an actual comic thing, I do want it to be named Bendy and Boris Stained Soul. So the abbreviation will be BABS, and I think that's cool. Now I'm just gonna read what I wrote down about the stain. I'm naming it the stain because it's basically a stain on the victim's soul. It's a gross, yucky parasite that stays dormant in the body for like a few months or so, and then activates, which leads to flare-ups that slowly weaken you until you're weak enough for it to completely consume you. Then you turn into a gross goop monster and just kind of die. As for symptoms, the symptoms are mood swings, vomiting, loss of appetite, shortness of breath, melting, and seizures. Because, I don't know. I imagine if you had, like, a parasite in you and it was, like, killing you from the inside out, I imagine that's kind of what the symptoms would be. And the stain only affects toons that are, like, made of ink. So, you know, like, Cuphead and Mugman wouldn't be affected because they're just, like, fucking porcelain or whatever. So, you know, they're good. Also, you know, if and when I make this an actual thing, I'll definitely, like, flesh out all the, like, lore about the illness and whatever a lot more, but, you know, right now, this is just what I have at the moment. The stain isn't, like, contagious or anything, it's just, like, Bendy can't pass the stain on to someone else, you know? Like, Boris can't get it. It's just, like, if you're just unlucky enough to get infected, then, oh well, I guess. Guess I'll die, you know? Some more info about Bendy. I aged him up 10 years, so now he's 28. Because in the original, he was just 18, which, you know, still an adult, but, like, I don't know. I just wanted to make him a bit older. He's 4'11", so he's pretty short. And I also made him bisexual, because for as long as I've known about the concept of, like, homosexuality, I've headcanoned him as bisexual. So he got inspired by Felix the cat to, like, explore and go on adventures with Boris, because in Quest for the Ink Machine, he's, like, famous author. He, like, writes about, like, all the adventures he's gone on, kind of like Daring Do from My Little Pony. I can't believe I'm making that connection, but, like, it's kind of like that. If you know Daring Do, then it's basically like that. So Felix, in my version, he still does that, because I do like that idea. Especially now that I've compared it to fucking Daring Do. So Bendy got inspired by him, because he is a fan of Felix, so he got inspired to, like, you know, kind of follow in his footsteps and explore, not like write about it or whatever, just like for funsies, you know. On one of his and Boris's like little adventures or whatever, he got infected with the stain. Oh no, he got infected, fuck! And ever since then, he's basically just accepted his fate, because he doesn't believe that he can be cured at all. You know, the stain is like a well-known kind of disease. Everyone knows, like, oh, if you get it, you're just fucked. Like, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just dead. You're basically just a dead man walking. So he's just like, ah, fuck. Oh well, I guess. He tries to enjoy whatever time he has left while he can, you know. He doesn't want to just mope around and be sad that he's dying. He wants to, you know, live life to the fullest while he can. Pretty inspirational if you think about it. The stain flares up randomly, and then he just has to, like, wait for it to kind of pass until he gets some medicine. But it's obviously not a cure. It doesn't make him magically better, but it does, like, you know, help with his flare-ups. And even with his doubts about the ink machine being able to cure him or whatever, he thinks of the adventure to find the parts to the ink machine and, like, fix it or whatever. He thinks of it as a way for him to spend as much time as possible with his friends and his brother before, you know, he dies. I almost forgot to mention, Bendy and Cuphead were childhood friends, but then Cuphead like moved away, so they were forced to be apart. So sad, but it's fine, because Bendy finds Cuphead at the bar that he works at with Mugman, and then they like reunite, and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in years. I'll probably talk about it more in the Cuphead section, but I'm making Bendy and Cuphead and Mugman and stuff, I'm making them friends, because I'm tired of the fucking thing where it's like Cuphead and Mugman just want to fucking kill Bendy and Boris. Like, bro, why are you doing that? Why are you being so mean? You know? So I made them be friends, because friendship is fucking magic, bro. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it with my version of Bendy. I'm pretty happy with this design. I thought that as I was working on it, I was like, ah, fuck, I kind of hate the color of the bag, but I'm like, you know what? It's not that big a deal. It's whatever. It's fine. You know, I tried to, like, you know, keep the color palette kind of, like, contained and not use, like, 20 different colors for every fucking thing, because that's a bit obnoxious. But yeah, that's my boy. That's Bendy. I love him.
Wake me up inside. I can't wake up inside. Save me.
Can't have Bendy without his beloved brother Boris. I don't hate him or his design nearly as much as I hate the other ones. He's still a cutie pie, even though Rouge's art style is a fucking eyesore. As for his personality, he's very energetic, bubbly, and is a big fan of Mickey Mouse, even though he's a huge weirdo in this comic. Don't worry, we will talk about that later. Well, his design isn't as bad as Bendy's. It's still kinda lame. He's a little weird looking in the face like his brother, but I can at least look at him without wanting to rip my eyes out. His outfit is honestly pretty similar to Bendy's, just with shorts, a scarf, and toeless shoes? Socks? I don't know what the fuck those are. By the way, looking at this design and knowing that Bendy is 18, how old do you think Boris is? I'll give you a second to guess. Do you have your guesses? Okay, you're wrong. He's 12! 12! There is no reason for him to be that young, especially considering how weird Mickey acts towards him in the comic. Ooh, what was that voice crack? Anyway, as for my design, there were a few things from the original design that I kept, like how him and Bendy have like matching color palettes, sort of. I also kept his like neck bandana scarf thingy. I just made it a little bit like smaller, because what the fuck was that in the original design? Like, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. He's also just like still clumsy like in the original, but there's a reason for it, because in my version Boris doesn't really sleep much, and even when he does, it's like he's a very light sleeper, so you know, he's kind of clumsy from being a bit sleep deprived. And obviously he's still friendly, because why would I change that? Like, that's stupid. Speaking of things that I changed, I made him more wolf-like, because, you know, in the original, he looked more like a dog than anything. He's a lot fluffier now, at least in, like, the face. I was mostly inspired by Myth of the Machine Boris, because I love his design. I gave my Boris kind of tired-looking eyes, I considered giving him like full-on eye bags, but kind of forgot. So whenever I draw him again, I'll add those. I gave him fingerless gloves because I just like drawing them. I just changed his outfit in general, got rid of his vest, and made his pants like long, and I gave him actual shoes and not whatever the fuck the original Boris was wearing, because what the fuck? I still don't know what those are. I really don't know if it's like, if those are supposed to be like leg warmer things, because like, why would you wear toeless leg warmer sock things when you're going on a quest, like an adventure, you know, you're gonna be walking a lot. Like, that's so stupid. I also got rid of Boris's backpack because I honestly didn't even realize he had one in the original, because in his like reference image thingy, it just looks like a brown blob on his back, and for most of the comic he doesn't even have it with him, so it's like, I just didn't even realize that it was there, so I didn't add that. Oh yeah, the biggest change is I aged him up. He's no longer 12 anymore! He's 23 now, so he isn't fucking 12 anymore, because that was just, so just gross looking back on it now. Out of the main group, in my version, he's still technically the youngest, but he's not a literal child surrounded by a bunch of adults. He's really tall. I don't know how tall Boris was in the original. I mean, he looked kind of short, but I don't know. But my version is 6 feet. He's 6 feet tall. Also, I made him aromantic and asexual because I can do what I want. And I always just headcanon Boris as being aro ace because, like, who's gonna stop me? You? I like to see you try. But yeah, that's all I got design-wise anyway. There's a little bit more to him. Ever since Bendy got infected, he has been looking for, like, some kind of cure with barely any rest. He just hasn't been taking good care of himself in general. He does the bare minimum, but, that's not great. He just cares about Bendy's well-being a little bit more than he cares about himself. He found out about the ink machine through a book at the library, and he's been, like, trying to find more information on it ever since then. He's pretty optimistic and hopeful, because, he doesn't want his brother to die, and, oh my gosh, I forgot I did this, but he also, he cries himself to sleep, like, every night. I accidentally made Boris kind of tragic, honestly. I don't know why I did that. Oops. Sorry, Boris. Oh yeah, just like with, Bendy, Boris is also friends with Cuphead and Mugman. Oh yeah, so I made, like, Boris's shirt. I made it white, or like the same shade of off-white as like his gloves and his face, but then I realized he almost looked shirtless, and I didn't want that, so I did make it a little bit darker, but I don't think you can really tell unless you, like, zoom in, so I'll definitely have to, like, tweak that whenever I draw him again. But yeah, that's Boris. I love his design so much more now, because I fixed it. I fixed it! Fuck you, Rouge! I hate you! Anyway, let's move on.
Who the fuck did your hair? What?
I'm gonna be blunt. His design is just mid. Rouge basically just made his shorts longer, gave him a sweater and a drug dealer trench coat, and called it a day. Oh yeah, and she also gave him congealed piss for hair, or as normal people call it, jello. While I don't hate the concept of jello hair, I actually love the idea and think it's hilarious. Rouge ruined that concept for me. So now whenever I see anyone give Cuphead or Mugman liquid hair, it just reminds me of this dumpster fire of a comic. And you wanna know something fucked up? Cuphead brushes his jello hair! Have you ever tried to brush jello? That shit does not work! I'm gonna have to go serious mode to talk about this next thing, but Cuphead attempts to take his own life after shooting Mugman on accident. It's important to remember when handling serious topics, such as suicide, you have to do it carefully and tactfully, and Rouge didn't even bother. It all happened so fast, as if Cuphead trying to kill himself is just another random plot point, and not the most upsetting thing anyone could ever do to themselves. It literally only lasts 20 fucking seconds! Thankfully, Bendy stops him, but even that is distasteful. he yells at Cuphead,
What the heck do you think you're doing? Are you mad?
which is not how you talk to someone who's about to take their own life. Sure, I get it. Bendy doesn't know Cuphead that much, and he did try to kill them like twice, but come on, have some empathy, dickwad. And you wanna know the worst part? This whole thing comes out of nowhere. Cuphead wasn't shown to have these kind of tendencies beforehand, and even after this whole mess, it is never mentioned again. All we get is Cuphead reluctant to use his finger guns because it reminds him of what happened. And another thing, we find out that Mugman is alive and well in a hospital where Cuphead just kind of left him. Wouldn't you want to be by your dying brother's side? Anyway, could you imagine if Bendy didn't stop Cuphead and he blew his brains out? Could you imagine if Mugman found out? Could you imagine the sheer anguish you'd experience if you found out your brother took his own life so he could presumably join you because he thought you were dead? As someone who had a suicidal friend and a sibling who died, technically, I am revolted. Sorry, I just had to talk about that. Let's lighten up the mood a bit and talk about my version of Cuphead, shall we? The only things that I liked from the original design that I decided to keep were the coat, the sweater, and the hair. But Moss, you said you hated the hair and it gave you PTSD flashbacks. I never said I hated it, I just hated the way that Rouge did it. Big difference, alright? That's why, instead of my version of Cuphead having jello hair, I decided to make Cuphead's hair foam. I also gave him some, like, cracks on his head, and also the rest of his body, but you can't really see it in this drawing. Because, you know, he's reckless and shit. I also decided to give him some, like, gold chains. Because, I don't know, he just needed some kind of accessory. You can thank my mom for that idea, as well as the foam hair, so, you know. Thanks, Mom! I love you! I also gave him, like, ripped jeans, and the, like, ends of his coat are ripped as well. Yeah, I just kind of made his design, like, go with his personality a little more. I gave him boots instead of just the lame-ass brown shoes he was wearing before. He also has fingerless gloves, because, like I said in the Boris section, I love drawing fingerless gloves. They're just so fun to draw. The hardest parts to draw for him were his shoes and his fucking hand. Just the one that he's, like, holding up. I literally, like, it took so long to get the hand and the shoes to look right, and even then I'm kind of iffy on the hand. Cuphead used to be like childhood friends with Bendy, and then he reconnects with him years later when they meet again at the bar that Cuphead works at with Mugman. So basically what happened, Bendy and Cuphead were friends, right? And then Cuphead moved away with Mugman and Elder Kettle for, like, whatever reason, I haven't decided yet. And then they just kind of forget about each other, sort of. And then years later, they meet up again and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in years! And then, you know, they're friends again. Maybe Cuphead has a little crush on him, I don't know. I mean, who said that? Who said that? Oh yeah, and the biggest change to Cuphead's personality is he's not an asshole anymore. I really don't know why Rouge made him such a dickhead. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, her, like, comic thing came out a little bit before Mugman, or no, that's not what I meant to say. Fuck, Rouge's comic Ask Blog thingy came out before the Cuphead game was, like, out. So, I mean, I guess their personality, like, you wouldn't know because the game wasn't out. But then, why would you make a thing for something that isn't even, like, released yet? What the fuck, Rouge? What were you on? But yeah, I guess I just made his personality like it is in canon. You know, he's not a fucking asshole to everyone. He's also not manipulative anymore. I didn't know this because I kind of blocked it out, but apparently Cuphead in Quest for the Ink Machine is really fucking manipulative, and it's just like, he would not do that. He's not like that at all. I don't know what Rouge was smoking to come up with shit like that, but I don't want that because those ideas are fucking stupid. Oh yeah, and I also made Cuphead a trans man and bisexual because I can do what I want. This is my story. I can do whatever the hell I want. You can't stop me. Ah, that's so fun. I love making characters queer. I guess I'll go back to talking about his design. His foam hair, I tried my absolute hardest to make it look kind of appetizing, cause, bro, Cuphead's hair in the original, it literally looked like piss. It was so yellow. Jello isn't that yellow. Or like, maybe it was lemon Jello, but as far as I am aware, it was just unflavored. It was just gelatin or something. Like, it's just like, it looked so gross. So yeah, I tried to make Cuphead's foam hair actually look good. And I think I did a good job. It looks very edible. Kind of similar to Bendy and Boris, I made the white kind of an off-white. I also made Cuphead's eyes kind of reddish black. In the original, he had just really red eyes. I mean, it's not a bad stylistic choice, but I don't know. I cannot look at that design without just bad memories coming back. I definitely made Cuphead's color palette a lot more red than it was in the original. The only red parts were his eyes, his nose, his straw, and his pants. But in this one, the coat is a little more, like, reddish, and his, like, sweater and his eyes are kind of reddish black. Oh yeah, Cuphead and Mugman don't work for the devil anymore, because that was also really stupid. I mean, they did that in the game, because they were trying to get the soul contracts and shit, but, I mean, I guess the comic came out before the game properly did, so viewers didn't know that. I guess I'll give her some leeway on that, but just this once. Just this once. A little bit of extra info that I forgot to mention, because my brain is all over the place. Cuphead and Mugman are the same age now, because, you know, that's how twins work. Because in the original, they weren't. I don't remember their ages off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll put it up on screen. But they weren't the same age, even though they're literally supposed to be twin brothers. That's not how twins work, Rouge. They have to be the same age. So, how I mentioned earlier, Bendy and Cuphead meeting up again. Cuphead and Mugman moved back to, I guess, wherever the main story takes place, because I haven't figured out the world building just yet. But they moved back because, sadly, Elder Kettle passed away, because he was old as shit, and Cuphead decides to join Bendy and Boris on their little adventure to kind of make up for all the years that they were apart, you know, kind of catch up, make up for lost time. And obviously Cuphead doesn't know that Bendy's slowly dying, but, you know, he'll find out soon enough. I might as well mention this, I am considering making, like, Bendy and Cuphead be a couple, because I really like Bendy's straw. I really love Bendy and Cuphead together. I don't know why. I just think they're great for each other. I love them so much. Actually, fun fact about me, Bendy and Boris' quest for the ink machine actually introduced me to the Bendy x Cuphead ship, the Bendy Straw ship. So, you know, at least something good came out of that dumpster fire in the series, if I make it. They will be gay, they will be in love, and they will be happy. Admittedly, this whole redesign, rewrite thingy I'm doing, it's very self-indulgent, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not embarrassed to admit that I'm just doing this for myself and like 5 other people that might like it. That's what art is. You make it for yourself, and just whoever else likes it, likes it. That's just how it is. So if you don't like the shit that I'm doing, if you don't like the changes I'm making, then go make your own thing. But yeah, there's Cuphead. I really like his design. I'm very happy with it. Aside from like the shoes and the hand, he was very fun to design. Alright, on to the next one. Now it's time for Cuphead's twin brother Mugman. His design is fine. A bit boring, but that's to be expected at this point. What I want to talk about is his characterization. He acts weirdly childlike in this comic. even though he's like 21 or something? For example, he suggests a piggyback race when he sees Bendy being carried by Felix. Just this whole image. Oh, he talks too fancy for me. Mugman, you're old enough to drink! What the fuck are you talking about? Also, you probably shouldn't call a 12-year-old your bestie. There's probably a few more examples, but I think you get the idea. Listen, there's nothing wrong with an adult acting silly or childish or whatever. But knowing what I know about Rouge, this is just gross in a way I can't quite explain. At least not yet. Now, my Mugman is way better, though that isn't exactly a high bar. As you can probably tell, I didn't keep anything from the original design because it was just so boring. There was nothing interesting about it. So, obviously I changed it. I gave him a different outfit. I gave him foam hair as well because he looked so bald in the original. Why does Cuphead get the weird jello hair, but not Mugman? What the hell, Rouge? Oh yeah, as I mentioned in the Cuphead section, Cuphead and Mugman are the same age now, because, they're twins. And Cuphead is nice to Mugman now, which he shouldn't have been mean to begin with, but, Mugman is friends with Boris, just like how Cuphead is friends with Bendy. I mean, they're all friends, but, And I also made Mugman asexual, because why not? I also made Mugman a little bit taller than Cuphead. Not by like a crazy amount, only like 2 inches, because just the way I draw Mugman makes him look taller anyway. Kind of the same stuff as Cuphead, like he moved away from Inkwell after Elder Kettle passed away, and he works at a bar with Cuphead. While Cuphead is really like excited to join Bendy and Boris on their like adventure or whatever, Mugman is a little more reluctant, especially after Cuphead accidentally sold their souls. But he does join anyway. And don't let Mugman's looks fool you. He may look really unassuming, but he can and will beat the shit out of you if he needs to. Don't ask why I made his outfit look like that. I just thought it looked good and like fit his personality or whatever. I honestly wish I gave him like some kind of other like neck accessory, maybe a necklace or something, because I don't know, just he's missing something. I guess just next time I draw him, I'll give him a necklace. Yeah, I changed basically everything about him, and I gave him a little like something or other, I don't know what it's fucking called, wrapped on his like handle, cause I don't know, I like when people draw Mugman with like a little ribbon or whatever on his handle. It looks cute. Oh yeah, his foam hair is more brown than Cuphead's, cause I thought it looked good. I don't fucking know. I showed this drawing to my sister, and I think she suggested that I make the brown a little lighter. Maybe I'll do that next time. But I don't know, I like it. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Mugman. Like, I like Mugman, but he's not my favorite. Not just in like my version, just in general, any version of Mugman. Like, I like him, he's cool, I like the color blue, but I don't know. He's boring, okay? He's fucking boring. I hate to say it, because like sometimes he's cool, but Mugman is fucking boring. I don't know how to make him interesting. Maybe I just need to like refresh myself on like Mugman interpretations or whatever, but he's fucking boring. I hate to say it, because like I do like him, but he's boring. Except in Myth of the Machine, he's fucking awesome in that. But still, that's just one like interpretation that I know of where he's actually like interesting or cool. But every other one, he's just kind of there, and that sucks, because there has to be some potential, man. He can't just be Cuphead's twin brother, even though that's kind of just how he is in my version, at least for now, because I'm still fucking working out the lore and shit, because I made this video on a whim, and I'm stuck working on it, and this section is probably gonna be the worst one, but fuck it, we ball! Just like with Cuphead, I made Mugman's eyes like a bluish black to match his sweater. Yeah, he's very blue. Oh yeah, I changed how his belt looked, because originally, like, you saw how the sketch looked, but I changed it because I thought it looked fucking weird. So, you're welcome. I'm kind of iffy on the gloves, but it's whatever. Sorry if I sound really tired or whatever. I've just been working on this video for months, and I'm kind of getting tired of it. Because I just want to get to the fun part of actually making the comic, but I gotta do this first to kind of be a sort of introduction, I guess, even though it kind of sucks. But I don't know. This is, like, probably the longest video I've ever made. And, like, I'm not even done yet. Like, I'm not built for this shit. I'm not good at making long-ass videos like this. I'm good at making short little silly gadget skits or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Just anything but this, man. And I don't have anyone helping me, like the Myth of the Machine creators. It's 2 people working on that. I'm just one person. I'm just one motherfucker in my bedroom, running out of storage on my laptop, just trying to make a couple silly redesigns, and then it turned into its own fucking thing. I'm a little bit overworked. Yeah, I don't know, man. Hopefully the next section will be better. I guess we should get to that. So, next character.
Fetch me their soul.
Joke's on you! Felix isn't a quester anymore. I mean, he's obviously still around, but just not with the main group. Why? Because I can do whatever the hell I want! But I might as well talk about Felix a little, just so you can understand why I decided to leave him out of this redesign, rewrite thingy. This is his design. A little less boring than everyone else's, but not by much. I mean, he has a cool bag and rope, and he also has a fur coat. That's cool, but that's kinda it. But just like Mugman, the design is not the problem. Rouge made Felix a gay twink that simps for Oswald. Here, let me show you some examples.
I always thought I might be bad. Now I'm sure that it's true. 'Cause I think you're so
Pretty bad, huh? Even though I wouldn't have screwed up Felix's characterization nearly as much as Rouge did, I decided to omit him from the group out of respect for the character. Instead, he's been replaced by Cartoon Cat, my favorite abomination. As you can probably tell, she looks pretty different from her canon counterpart. She's fluffier, has clothes on, and is more of a dark gray than black, but that's only because I made her top black and I didn't want it to blend in with her fur. Oh yeah, and speaking of her clothes, I decided to make Cartoon Cat punk because I just thought she'd look good like that. Well, I tried to make her punk. I don't really know much about punk style. Now I know what you're gonna say. Moz, you said too many details can fuck shit up. You're a hypocrite. No, not. I just got a little crazy with her design and forgot to keep it simple. But I mean, punk clothes are never really simple as far as I'm aware, so I think all the details and accessories work well enough. Oh, and you might have noticed that I've been referring to Cat as a she. Well, that's because she's a trans woman in my universe. That's right, I hit her with the transgender beam and I am not ashamed of it. Why did I make her trans? Because there was just too many fucking dudes. It was a fucking sausage party. I mean, in the original, all the questers were dudes. I wanted a bit more variety in my version, and also I love women, so that's why I made Cartoon Cat a chick. If you don't like that, leave a comment about it and I'll make sure not to read it. Anyway, a bit more info about her. She gets into fights a lot and is a bit of an adrenaline junkie. She can seem very standoffish and rude at times, but she's just not good at social interaction. Literally me, for real. She was used as an experiment, which is why she looks the way she does now. She escaped the lab with the help of another experiment, who she befriended in the process. Right now, she's hiding in an abandoned house with her experiment friend, whose name is Milo. She's also Felix the Cat's estranged sister. Oh, and eventually she's going to be in a polycule with Bendy and Cuphead. A little more about her design that I forgot to mention. I gave her a bunch of piercings, because piercings look so swag. She has fishnet gloves and spiked bracelets, as well as a spiked collar with chains. Her tank top has a simplistic ribcage design on it, because it looks fucking awesome. Her jeans are ripped, and you can see some fur poking out of the rips. She's using a strip of caution tape as a belt, because it looks awesome, okay? It looks fucking cool. I didn't give her shoes because I just forgot, so I'll definitely have to give her shoes next time I draw her. And she has a bandage on her tail and a few scars on her face from previous fights. Also, you probably noticed she has her claws out, and I almost made them red, but I decided against it. Anyway, I think it would be cool if she has them out all the time because she's always ready for a fight, but she only retracts them when she's around people she trusts/cares about. Like Milo, her friend from the lab. I'll probably incorporate that into the story somehow. But yeah, that's Cartoon Cat. I'm pretty proud of her design, but there are a few things I would tweak next time I draw her. But that goes for pretty much all the designs, so. And that's all the characters. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. There's one more character I decided to add. That's right, bitches! I'm inserting myself into the story and you can't stop me! But Moss, you're not a cartoon. Humans don't exist in Quest for the Ink Machine. First off, there are human cartoon characters. Second, I don't give a shit! Besides, my version of Quest for the Ink Machine takes place in a Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of universe where real-ass people and cartoons coexist, because I think that shit is awesome! Anyways, as for my self-insert, they're the other experiment I mentioned in the Cartoon Cat section. Isn't it nice to put a face to the name? Anyway, I obviously made them look somewhat like me since they're my self-insert, though their eyes are more green than mine are in real life. I would have made their eyes more gray, but I think the green looks good with the rest of the color palette. Knowing me though, I'll probably change it anyway. Oh, and I also made them part sheep. Well, more specifically, they're a ram, because that's my zodiac sign. Did I know a ram was a male sheep before designing Milo? Nope, but Milo is non-binary anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Some more info about Milo. One of the many experiments from the lab, they managed to escape with the help of Cartoon Cat, which led to them becoming friends. Like I mentioned in the Cartoon Cat section, Milo lives with Cat in an abandoned house where they're both hiding from the scientists. Milo's a hermit. They never leave their house, except to join in on the adventure, of course. Has a pet cat named Baby, who's based off my real-life cat, who's also named Baby. Helped Cartoon Cat steal the map that leads to the parts of the ink machine. Makes a medicine for Bendy to help with his stain flare-ups. Has been researching about the stain and the ink machine for a while, so Milo joins the others to act as their guide or whatever. Now you're probably asking, Moss, why did you insert yourself into your story? You could have just kept the Questers a group of 5. I'm just exercising my free will, man. It's pretty fun, and you should try it. I also wanted the group to have an even number of people in it, because I'm autistic and asymmetrical groups drive me nuts. Okay, let's get back on track and talk about Milo's design a bit more. They're blind in their left eye and have some scars on their face. I haven't decided on how they got the scars yet, but, you know. Those vials of red liquid is actually Bendy's medicine, which they always carry with them, just in case. Bendy also has some in his bag. Milo's design actually looked way different, but also way more boring. They were just a human. I don't have a picture of it, but just imagine Milo's curtain sign without the sheep features and with longer hair. I'm glad I changed their design to what it is now, and I hope you guys like it as well. Anyway, that's Milo. I think I've said everything I want to say about them, so let's wrap this video up. Alright, it's time for the part of the video I've been dreading the most. It's time to talk about Rouge and some of the fucked up shit she did. Now, you probably know her for her contributions to the Undertale community, such as the PJ's Daycare AU, or one of her other AUs. I won't talk about any of those here, as I want to focus on Quest, but if you want to know more, I recommend watching this video by Streamline Workshop. She goes in depth about all the weird stuff in Rouge's AUs in a pretty concise way, but please be careful if you do decide to watch it, as there is some unsightly things in the video. Anyway, with that out of the way, it's time to talk about all the weird shit in Quest for the Ink Machine. But first, I need to give a massive trigger warning for pedophilia, grooming, sexual harassment, incest, suicide, and abuse. If you don't want to hear about any of that, feel free to click off now. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one. But if you're morbidly curious, you can keep watching, but you can't say I didn't warn you. Okay, let's go. Near the beginning of the comic, the Warner siblings get introduced, and Dot has a crush on Bendy, and she is very pushy, for lack of a better term. Now that's already pretty weird. Harassment is never okay, even if it's a girl doing it. But it gets even weirder when you remember that in this comic, Bendy is 18 and Dot is 10. That's right, Rouge didn't age Dot up or anything, she kept her as a 10-year-old. And this isn't even the first time in this comic where a child has a crush on an adult. A bit later, when the actual story starts, we see that Boris is a huge fan of Mickey Mouse. Now that's fine, there's nothing wrong about that. But later, when Mickey finds out about Bendy's condition, he starts trying to convince Boris to work for him in his little traveling circus thing. Basically, he wants to take care of this random 12-year-old that he just met because Bendy is going to die soon. Well, what's so bad about that? I hear you asking. Well, while Bendy and Boris are running away from Cuphead, Mickey is still at the restaurant worried about Boris and calls him my Boris, and vows to find him and keep him safe or whatever, only for Bendy and Boris to show up. Then Mickey is all embarrassed, and both him and Boris start blushing. It's blatantly obvious that Rouge is insinuating that they have feelings for each other or something, which is absolutely disgusting. Oh, but maybe she's just bringing attention to how gross and wrong it is. Nope, she's romanticizing it. Thankfully, their relationship doesn't escalate at all, but that does not excuse any of this. Also, Mickey keeps saying how good he is with kids, which is just gross considering how he treats Boris. Oh, but that's not all. We also have some vaguely incestuous moments between the B-Bros and the Cup Bros. How fun. Though it's a bit more obvious with the Cup Bros than it is with Bendy and Boris. Either way, it's fucking nasty. On the topic of vaguely incestuous moments, later we find out that when Oswald's kids purr, he gets reminded of his dead wife. Yeah. Now maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but that's really weird, right? I don't know, just thought I'd mention it. Anyway, there's also a hefty amount of fetishization of gay men. We meet Felix when Oswald mistakes him for his dead wife, somehow, and hugs him from behind. Felix gets all flustered by this, and after Mickey pulls Oswald away, Felix can't stop thinking about Oswald and just becomes a total simp for him throughout the comic. Now, listen. I love gay ships as much as the next chronically online teenager, but the way Rouge portrays their relationship is just so gross. It's literally that one yaoi meme, and that pisses me off. Also, Felix mentions how he acts half his age when he's around Oswald, which is apparently supposed to be cute? Keep in mind, Felix is 30. There's also just awful portrayals of mental illness, suicide, and abuse. For mental illness, we have Oswald. Oswald is depressed and has some form of PTSD because his wife died from the ink illness, but he just kinda gets over it after Mickey talks to him, which is not at all how that works. Oswald would have to go through years of therapy to even begin to heal from that kind of trauma. But nope, one pep talk from his brother and he's all good. As for suicide, we have Cuphead. Like I mentioned in the Cuphead section, he tries to kill himself after shooting Mugman because he believed that he deserved to die, which is just... I already said everything I had to say about it in that section. It was poorly executed, wasn't giving any weight, and was just overall in bad taste. But surely Rouge handled abuse tactfully, right? Yeah, no, she fucked that up too. How? Well, there's this character named Fanny who is Oswald's ex-girlfriend, and she's married to some other character named Brute. Of course, given the circumstances of how they got together, their relationship is very abusive. So, naturally, Rouge decided to show how horrifying this is by making it a passing line in a completely irrelevant scene. Wow, thanks a lot, Rouge. And speaking of abusive relationships, Cuphead is a manipulator. He manipulates Mugman a lot throughout the comic, not letting him make friends and telling him not to risk his life for Boris so he won't go crazy and try to kill the B-Bros again. Mugman also manipulates Boris, the 12-year-old, into being his friend. I wonder who he learned that from. Anyway, another thing I forgot to mention, Bendy is a big fan of Felix, and he's more normal about it than Boris is with Mickey. At least that's what I would say if Bendy and Felix didn't have this weird half-sided crush and father-son dynamic. You heard me right. Bendy is constantly blushing and being embarrassed whenever he shows any amount of weakness around Felix, and it's obvious he has some kind of crush on him, which is weird enough given the age gap. But then Bendy accidentally calls Felix dad after getting his hair brushed by him. As you can probably guess by now, that's fucking gross. But yeah, in conclusion, the Great Rouge is a disgusting degenerate who should be locked up for life. I'd hate to leave this video on such a sour note, but I don't really have anything else to say. Check out Myth of the Machine. It takes the absolute mess that was Quest and makes it actually good. Also, check out Bendy and Boris Stained Soul whenever I get around to actually making it. My Tumblr is linked below if you're interested. Yeah. See you next time.